Hey everybody, this is Chewy Plays Nintendo, and today I'm going to talk about what I want to see when we get more news about Animal Crossing New Horizons. But before we get too far, I want you to hit that subscribe button, and I want to let you know that I'm making another fan video. So I want to know what fans want to see in the next round of news for the game. So leave a comment about what you'd like to learn more about, what types of features you're hoping for, and in general, what Nintendo could show you that would make this the perfect Animal Crossing game. I'll be sharing your answers in my video next week, so please leave a comment, and I'll see you then. As for right now, it has been almost 2 months since we got to see Animal Crossing New Horizons at E3, so naturally, we're starting to itch for some news. So what I am hoping to hear from Nintendo is a lot of things. So the first one I want to talk about is multiplayer. All the Treehouse really left us was with the promise that we'd be able to see 8-player multiplayer in the future. There is something very specific I want to see based on that promise though. I want to see mini-games. In the past, we've played New Leaf, and it was really cool to have island games and doing those sort of things to get like the shells and I guess I forget what currency it was that you got because it's been so long since I've been playing that game, but you got these different currencies that you could use on special items that you could only find on the island, and that was really awesome, and the games were pretty fun. Some of them were cooperative, some of them were competitive, and there was a good mix of different types of games that you could play. But what I want to see them do is kind of combine that cooperation and competitive games to make more of a 4 versus 4 mini game type of thing. So you could team up with 4 players, your friends can team up with 4 other players, and you can challenge each other 4v4 style in bug catching, fishing, scavenger hunts, maybe even trivia. That's one of the fun things about Amiibo Festival that people don't get to try too often, but the trivia, which was insanely difficult, especially with like a game that had almost zero Animal Crossing context to really learn, but I think it'd be a little bit more effective in this. But regardless, I want to see players be able to face off against each other as teams. I play a lot of Splatoon 2, and I spend a lot of time doing 4 versus 4 games, so I think it makes sense to, if you're going to increase the number of players, kind of change up the types of games that you can do. I think what we got in New Leaf was very effective. I think it worked for the 4-player modes, but I want to see them expand upon that and really make, I don't know, I guess give us a little bit more competition in the game. Animal Crossing is always a very relaxed game, but when it came to the island games, I felt like you got people yelling, you got people cheering each other on for different things, so it's really cool. And, you know, this is just an idea, but overall, I just really want to see how Nintendo takes 8-player multiplayer and makes it more interesting for us. The next thing I want to learn more about is the airport. We got to see a small corner of the airport during the treehouse, part of the dock, and maybe even part of a plane, but I want to see more of the airport. This is going to be our hub to other towns, and I'm interested to see how it works and who works there, essentially. Because, you know, we're going to be going to this place to visit each other via online multiplayer, even local multiplayer, which you can do between switches, but locally, not over the internet. That'll be a thing. But I'm really interested to see, I guess, just how this is going to work, because we've had different kind of characters play that role of gatekeeper, you can say. So in the first Animal Crossing, we had Porter, who ran the train station, and that was your way into other worlds, into other towns, essentially. So you'd talk to Porter, you'd hop on the train, and then from there like Rover talked to you, sometimes Blanca would talk to you, and then in the future that changed. So with Wild World and City Folk, you had actually the police dogs there. So you had Copper and Booker there as the gatekeepers, and you essentially talk to them to kind of start your online communication or multiplayer type of function. And then I guess back in New Leaf, it turned back into Porter again. So we've seen each of those 3 characters in that role twice. And I'm really just wondering, are they going to change this at all? Because thus far, we've only really seen Nook and Timmy and Tommy. I guess Tom Nook, if you want to get the full name in there. But we've only really seen them. So I'd be very interested to see who's going to play that role of gatekeeper, essentially? Who's going to let people into your town, let you out of your town? And yeah, essentially, how is that going to work? I'm really excited to see that. And how is it decorated? Are we only going to, I guess, access it from the outside, or is there going to be an inside area? Is there going to be a gift shop in this airport? You know I love my duty-free stuff, so I gotta have an international airport for sure. So anyways, that's what I want to see. But speaking of airports, I also want to see something else that's related to that, and that is the Nook Miles. We have learned in the treehouse that we're going to be able to collect Nook Miles by doing different activities through the town, but what are those going to go toward? Essentially, what are the rewards? Are there going to be different destinations that we go to? Because typically airplane miles go toward travel, right? So are there other islands? Maybe the planes go towards trips to other islands. Maybe we will discover new areas that we couldn't get to. And if so, I would hope that this would address that need for resources when crafting. So I kind of talked about this in my last video with crafting, but you know, eventually we're going to be having towns that are pretty manicured, pretty nice, and we may not have the same amount of weeds that we had in the past, but those are still resources that you need to craft different things. So maybe Nook Miles will unlock different islands that are full of weeds, and we can go once a day and collect a bunch so we can have a little stockpile to use in our crafting recipes. So I think that would be a good way to address those concerns that I have for, I guess, just management of resources. So the other thing I'm interested in is, are we going to unlock different shops too with the miles? Like before, because you know, we come into this town and it's pretty empty and there's not really any other shop outside of Nook. So are we going to only be able to access some shops on some days by using these Nook Miles and going to different places? Who knows, but I'm really interested to see how this is going to work. Now let's take it back into town, and this is a small thing, but also very big for Animal Crossing fans, but cliffs have come back, and I'm really interested to know how these cliffs are going to work. From the maps that we've seen in the treehouse so far, it doesn't look like we have a ramp that takes us up the cliff, and we didn't really get to see an item that we could use to climb cliffs. We did see the pole vault, which got us across the rivers, but is there going to be a tool for us to climb the cliffs at the beginning of the game? Because that leaves a whole part of your town that you are not going to have access to for who knows how long, really. So I think that's kind of strange, but also kind of exciting, but I just really want more answers about this. And then in the future, after we've gotten a tool that will take us up and over the cliffs and everything, are we going to be able to make ramps? Are we going to, because ramps, I have a small love for the ramps, especially if you watch like Animal Crossing population growing gameplay. You can see a really wide variety of styles for the ramps, so I want to make sure I have some very interesting ramps, because I don't really like a boring one that just kind of goes straight up or straight down. I want some nice features to it. That would be really great. And you know, overall I want the cliffs to serve as more than a barrier between levels of your town. Like, can we decorate them? I am very excited to see if we could hang things on the cliff, things like pictures or portraits, or you know, just like a potted plant or something. Like, it'd be really interesting to be able to decorate your cliffs in some way and just give you overall more ways to customize your town, more things to do. And then the last thing I want to know about the cliffs is, are cedar trees locked to only grow on the upper levels of town? So the cedar trees tend to be the more pine tree looking tree in Animal Crossing, and I've run into the issue before where in New Leaf, for example, they would not grow on the southern half of your map. That was a bummer for me. I planted my house in the southern half, and I wanted so badly to put cedar trees all around it, but I wasn't able to because they didn't grow there. Am I gonna run into that issue again? Because I want to be able to grow pine trees anywhere in my town. I don't like that there's a limit to where you can grow these trees. I think they should just be able to grow wherever. And thus far, we haven't really seen definitive proof about that. So I am interested in that. I know it's a small thing, but you know, I'm crazy about this game, so it's just something that I'm gonna focus on. The last thing, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit before, but I want to see more of the decorating aspect. one of the big things that they focused on the treehouse was crafting. And while that was great because it is the new mechanic and it's a big change for Animal Crossing and the fandom. Like, there are a lot of people who are resistant toward crafting. I think more and more people are opening up to it. At least that's what I'm kind of getting from the comments on my videos, but I do want to see more of the decorating aspect, because another really big thing in this game is that we can decorate outside. I want to know how we can take advantage of the exterior decorating aspect. Specifically, one of the big things that I would like to do is to hang items. Like I mentioned, I want to hang things on the cliff, but maybe we can hang things on trees, maybe even lights during Toy Day. And so, I don't know, I want them to take advantage of the natural features of the world. Maybe we can hang little signposts on trees or something, just something that makes a little more variety to just like placing an item on the floor. So we do already have like wall panel type of items in the game, so it'd be pretty interesting to see if we can then take wall panels and instead of them just being like a standalone item, being able to hang things on them. So that'd be something interesting. And I do want to also see the interior decorating a little bit. We got very little footage of that during the treehouse, and practically none at all from the other game. And of course, that was because we were focused around tents, and tents actually have some limitations based on like what we've played through on New Leaf as far as like what you can decorate. Like, for example, I don't think you can hang anything in your tent in New Leaf. You have to upgrade to a home to be able to hang things. But one thing that was really cool about Happy Home Designer specifically was that they added ceiling items, and I'm sure we weren't going to be able to see ceiling items because, you know, the characters were in their tent still in all the footage that we got, but I want to be able to hang things on the ceiling. It really added literally another level to your decorating, because you have the floor, essentially the walls, and then now the ceiling on top of that, literally on top of that. I'm just full of puns today, but we have just a new way to look at our space and kind of decorate things, and it was so fun, like stringing ribbons and party things and plants and all sorts of stuff all over your ceiling, and just really added to the character of the room and what you decorated. And even just having like a ceiling fan or a light that's hanging from the ceiling. I don't know, there's so many cool things that they can do with that aspect that I don't want to miss out on. So they did already say that we can move things in half increments, which is really great. That's something that was introduced in Happy Home Designer, and it's continued through Pocket Camp, so I'm pretty sure they're sticking to that smaller grid style that allows us to just have more control over the placement of our items. So I'm hoping they pull a little bit more from Happy Home Designer, because some of the decoration aspects were really cool from that. So anyways, these were, I guess, five things that I want to see in the next round of Animal Crossing New Horizons news. We don't know when we're getting news so far, but I figured it'd be fun to kind of talk about like what I want to see when we eventually get news. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm really interested to know what you all want to see. Let me know in the comments. Remember, I am making a video about what fans want to see more of, or, you know, just in general, you like speculate about features and anything you want to tell me, and I will share your answers next week. And so yeah, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.